Hold
Tom,
on,
I'm
give me a
just
second.
trying to understand.
If you give me a second, Tom.
I'm trying to understand what exactly you're saying here.
What I'm trying to say is that they've been lying to us about the past. Okay, they've been lying to us for years, and if you look at the evidence,
okay, but how can you be
Tom,
so sure?
Tom, I want you to take a look at this painting. Okay, the official narrative is that this was painted over 600 years ago with oil paints. Oil paints, right? Like the kind of thing you would buy at Walmart. Now, I want to ask you, can you paint anything that looks even remotely like this?
Well,
with oil paints?
Well, no, but whoever painted this probably had his whole life to study.
No, Tom, we're talking about the Middle Ages here. Okay, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. Most of the population lives in abject poverty. The Black Death is wreaking havoc on populations. You think these peasants just have time to sit down and paint a picture that looks like this?
I mean, again, if you spend your whole life studying and practicing,
when would you have had time to study just to sit down and paint something like
I don't
this?
know. Okay,
Trust me, if you know anything about the past, you know that it is literally impossible for them to have made something like this back then. Literally impossible. They didn't have time to just sit down and paint.
Okay, I believe you.
Nowadays, no problem, right? You just type burning city at night oil painting into your image generator and you're good.
I'm still confused about what you're trying to say here because this painting, we probably have the original somewhere, right?
We know where it comes from. We know how old it is.
The way I see it, there's two possibilities. Possibility one is that this whole thing is a hoax, okay? They generated all these images. They fill the whole internet with them.
But how would we...
And now they want you to believe that they've been there the whole time.
No, but if they did that, how would we have the original copies of the paintings?
Tom, I mean, we can see how old these paintings are, right? We can use radiocarbon dating or whatever.
Tom, if you want to get into the specific issues with radiocarbon dating, we can do that. But for my part, I share in your skepticism. Okay, I don't think possibility 1 is necessarily the most likely possibility, but possibility 2... Okay, possibility 2 is that back then they had access to some kind of generative AI.
That's just even crazier.
Tom, history is literally filled with stories that suggest the encounter between humans and higher intelligence, okay? Filled with
what,
them.
aliens?
I don't know if it was aliens, maybe, but think about it. Think about all the stories about how humans discovered art. In almost every legend, music is not something that was invented by humans, but something that was given to humans by the gods. In Greek mythology, it's the muses that allow for the composition of poetry.
So you're saying some benevolent AI from some futuristic civilization has been watching over Earth for thousands of years and giving us art. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. All I'm saying is that the sheer level of precision, quality, and detail put into these ancient works of art, to me, suggests that they couldn't have been made by a human. Okay, there had to have been a generative AI involved.
But that doesn't explain why the AI would even be here in the first place.
Tom, and if you want even more evidence, Tom, you can see that sometimes the AI made mistakes. For example, take this scene here from Citizen Kane. Okay, we're outside the window. We push through. The camera pushes through, and now we're inside the building. Now tell me, Tom, how would a shot like that have been possible in the 1940s with the kind of camera equipment they had back then, huh? Tell me how that would have been possible.
I don't know, but they probably could have worked something out. I mean, clearly they did.
No, Tom, explain how it's possible.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know how it's possible.
Exactly, because it's not possible. Okay, it's not possible, Tom. They couldn't have just pushed a camera through a window like that. But a generative AI wouldn't have understood the limitations of a physical camera. So it makes this shot, right? And Orson Welles sees it and he thinks it's cool and he keeps it in the movie and no one's the wiser.
Okay, fine. All right, I believe you.
It's the only explanation. Tom.
Well, I guess we'll just have to leave it up to the court of public opinion. Anyway, we are out of time for the evening. This has been the Tom Thompson Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Thompson. Bart, thank you again for being with us here today.
My pleasure, Tom.
We'll be back here next week with a brand new guest here to discuss the unexpected downsides of human-human relationships. Stay slick, everyone.